All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and Gary Antoine Russell is calling Devin Haney's bluff. Devin Haney and his father, Bill Haney, said when they got to 140 pounds, they would fight Gary Antoine Russell. And it appears as if Gary Antoine Russell is going to be in the position to be the mandatory for Devin Haney. And Gary Russell Jr. lets Devin Haney know exactly what he says is going to happen and why. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about keeping your word and the future of the 140-pound division, as Devin Haney is still the WBC champion. He very well may get his loss taken off of his record, which would again make him undefeated. And he obviously is not going to be going up to 147 pounds, as he has stated that he would like to fight Isaac Cruz. Unfortunately, though, that fight will probably not happen because Isaac Cruz is not on the same network as Devin Haney, and Isaac Cruz will more than likely, and I do believe that Isaac Cruz is going to be fighting Rayo Valenzuela on the card that is going to take place on August 3rd. So that fight is more than likely not going to happen next for Devin Haney. However, and Devin Haney also said that he's not going to be rematching Ryan Garcia, which I think is probably his best move. So when Gary Antoine Russell said, hey, man, I want to fight Devin Haney. And if you recall, when Devin Haney was trying to fight Gary Russell Jr., he and Bill Haney, my recollection is, said that when they go to 140, they will look for Gary Antoine Russell. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really makes a big difference to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But let's get into this. Because first of all, let me say thank you for the wonderful career, Deontay Wilder, who lost by knockout yesterday to Zhang, the Chinese heavyweight, and what I do believe is going to be the last fight of Deontay Wilder's career. Always fought the toughest person he could get into the ring. And thank you very, very much for the career. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Very, very exciting fighter. Will definitely be missed if he actually decides to retire. Now, in the vein of people that say they want to fight the best, Devin Haney has for a long time insisted that he is the only person that wants all the smoke with everybody. Well, there's a guy who was asked in an interview on Fight Hype about fighting Devin Haney, and his name is Gary Antoine Russell. Gary Antoine Russell, I do believe I know that he is an undefeated fighter. He will be fighting on Gervonta Davis's undercard when he fights Alberto Puello, the Dominican former 140-pound WBA champion in Las Vegas. I'm going to tell you ahead of time, man, Alberto Puello is a very, very good fighter. That fight is not a foregone conclusion that Gary Antoine Russell is going to win that fight. However, assuming for the sake of conversation that he does win that fight, he is going to be going up in the rankings. And seeing as Devin Haney has a next fight is actually mandated to be with Sandor Martin. I don't think that Gary Antoine Russell can fight him right away, but Gary Antoine said that he wants to fight. He wants to fight and would target a fight with Devin Haney. And this is the type of fight that Devin Haney will need to fight in order to make up for the loss that he took with Ryan Garcia. This dude is a undefeated knockout artist. I think, matter of fact, knockout artist. He's got 100% knockout ratio. Very, very, very good fighter, and somebody that people would say would be a very, very dangerous fight. Antoine Russell, for his part, said that he would do to Devin Haney exactly what Ryan Garcia did to him, and that Devin would not be able to, survive against him because Gary Antoine says, man, I'm going to put the pressure on him and I'm going to crack him. And coming off that loss to Ryan Garcia, I think that might be the first time that Devin Haney would be an underdog going into a fight and fighting a guy again who's just as young as he is, just as big as he is. Somebody that is a big puncher, but different than Ryan Garcia in that Gary Antoine Russell is somebody that is a big puncher with both hands. As big a puncher as Ryan Garcia, but big puncher with both hands, fighting from the southpaw stance. If Devin Haney is able to beat him, you can vault him up into the top of the pound for pound list for real. Up until Ryan Garcia. And, Ryan Garcia may have been a little bit of a case for him of underestimating Ryan Garcia and, kind of letting what everybody said about him being Devin Haney, let it go to his head. That's not going to be the case if he gets in there with Gary Antoine Russell. And this is the type of fight that will be needed for him to say, yeah, okay, I really want the smoke with the best people, the best fighters in that division. Not Sandor Martin. Sandor Martin is maybe wound up being a tricky fight for Devin Haney, but nobody really considers, and I don't really consider Sandor Martin a top 140-pound fighter. It's a duty that Devin is going to have because he's the WBC champion. He's going to have to fight. It's mandatory. I do believe that there's been step-aside money paid to Sandor Martin on 2 different occasions. But at this point in time, I think Sandor Martin's been pretty inactive. If Devin fights him, he should be able to get by him. But the other people that are in that division, between Teofimo Lopez, Isaac Cruz, Sandor Martin, who's the mandatory, who is the IBF? I can't recall who the IBF guy is right now at 140 pounds. But the WBA is Isaac Cruz. The WB, drawing a blank here. The WBO is Teofimo Lopez. The WBC is Devin Haney. And again, man, I'm having a hard time Subriel Matias. So Subriel Matias, the Puerto Rican Subriel Matias. Gary Antoine Russell is definitely as difficult or more difficult than any of those guys. And I take Gary Antoine Russell to beat all 3 of those guys. So to step up and fight him, I think would be a really big deal and a good comeback for Devin Haney. The question is whether or not he could actually beat him. And I don't really know. Because Gary Antoine Russell, again, is a very, very good fighter. He has an excellent pedigree. He's got an excellent corner in his brother, Gary Russell Jr. But there's also, just the simple fact that Devin Haney's chin looks a little bit suspect, man. Looks a little bit suspect, and he definitely had a rough time. He definitely had a rough time with Ryan Garcia, and who knows where his confidence will actually be. But down the road, I certainly hope that fight can happen. I would love if it could happen. I would love if it could happen next, but more than likely that's not going to be the case unless Devin dropped the belt to fight for a non-title fight. But more than likely, Devin's going to fight Sandor Martin next. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.